So, I need to start off by saying that we are far from perfect and we are on a journey, and we're not claiming that we're the best or the biggest or the most sustainable or whatever. But I guess I want to be encouraging everybody to be thinking about it. So, we feel really passionately that we all need to be more sustainable. And PVC is plastic. It's not brilliant. Weirdly, again, if you go back 2.5 years ago, it didn't occur to me when we were buying the business, we were buying a plastic-based business. How that can not have happened, but it didn't. So we sort of slowly dawned on us that we were dealing with this plastic
Yeah.
item. And there's some argument that because it's very far from being a single-use product, vinyl in itself has a lot. It's not a single-use plastic product, but it is still plastic. There's quite a lot of research and development around PVC plastic, but without the petrochemicals. So they basically take the petrochemical side of it out and replace it with organic compound. And it's not new news. And the early versions of it were not great. We tried them. You could hear, it sounded noisy and didn't ever make sense that would be a good compromise. But just before that competition came along, we'd test out a new compound and it sounded brilliant. So you couldn't see the difference, you couldn't hear the difference. But as a new business, we needed to import it from overseas, and we just didn't have the cash flow for it. So we entered a competition. One of those things where you think, oh, you're never going to win. Thousands of people entered. We had to do it was with Xero, the accounting software. We had to do a 60-second video about what we would do with 20,000 Australian dollars. So I put Neil in front of the camera and he did this piece to camera about the sustainability, how we wanted to import it. And we won this $20,000 grant to import our first batch of low carbon compound. And it reduces the carbon footprint of the PVC by 92%. So we're not talking small amounts, we're talking really significant amounts. And again, there's complexity around that figure, but it's a step in the right direction. So we were the first in Australia to bring it in, and the labels responded really well to it. Do you know the band Lime Cordiale?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I've been trying to get an interview with them for like years.
They are awesome. They are such good guys. So they, again, to their credit, heard about what we were doing. And at that point, it was a little bit of an untested product.
Mhm.
And they trusted us, and they actually came to the factory, and you probably saw on our site, there's footage of them here. And so they did our first big order of low carbon compound, which was a really big deal because they're a big name,
Yeah.
really credible guys. And we produced their album and they looked beautiful, sounded beautiful, and it was quite a big deal for the industry. And after that, we've had all the labels follow with really big name artists coming as well. So we're in the process of, again, it's a cash flow issue, right? We've got to get enough money to bring it in. One of the things that we're doing there is using regrind so basically to reduce our waste. We're getting reasonably close to zero waste. And one of the ways that we do that is by anything that fails our QA, we punch out the label, sand that down, give it back to the artist, and then regrind the vinyl from the outside. But that's not pure at that point because, imperfections occur. So what we do is offer that as a hand pour regrind, which is a combination. And the great thing about that is that, again, we talk to the artists and get the kind of artwork they're looking for and the kind of colors they're going for. But when you're looking at those ones, every single vinyl is unique. And again, fans love that. Fans love it, artists love it, and it's reducing our waste. At the same time, we're looking at making sure that all our packaging is responsible. We've got FSC certified packaging. We are also investigating, we've got renewable energy in the factory. One of the things that I don't know, maybe this is getting too technical now, but one of the limitations we have is that we need steam to heat as part of the vinyl making thing. And we still have, because the way the systems work, we still need to use gas for the steam, which is not brilliant. So everything that we can, we're making renewable, and we're working with various companies. There's quite a lot of research being done. Basically, we're wanting to continually move in that direction of making every choice we make, we want to be more sustainable. Have you heard of the Churchill Fellowship?
That is on my list of questions because I know what that is. I interviewed someone who did a different thing. She did it for disability and accessibility in the music business, and she also won the fellowship. So rings a bell. Tell me about
Yeah,
it.
okay. So it's literally, so it was started by Winston Churchill, and the idea of it is to provide funds for Australians to learn about something that they can't learn within Australia. So to go away from Australia, learn about it, bring it back into Australia and share it with the Australian market. And Neil won it for sustainable manufacturing practices in vinyl production. So we're going over to, of course, I'm going to because obviously, but so we're going over to Europe, quite a few places in Europe a bit later on this year. We're targeting, there's some amazing sustainability stuff happening, not just in vinyl, but that thing I was telling you about with gas production. There's people who are dealing with that in other industries. So we're spending about 4 or 5 weeks just researching what's going on overseas, investigating more about this low carbon compound. So hopefully to bring it all back, and we just think it's so important that we all in Australia that we incorporate it. And the labels are really into it. There's a real demand for it. There's a real appetite for it. But we're trying very carefully not to do the greenwashing thing because we are still making plastic, So let's not pretend we're not, but we are walking in the right direction, and see some really big changes coming. And I think we can really make it great.